Welcome to Monday Morning Coffee with Inside the Firm. Each week, our hosts will be interviewing local, regional, and national business leaders to give you an inside peek into how they lead their business to success in the ever-competitive business climate.
Welcome to Monday Morning Coffee with Inside the Firm. Today I have a very special guest. He had me on his show. Now he's on our show. Fletcher Wimbush, CEO of Discovered Performance Hiring Software, has spent the past decade solving some of the toughest challenges in hiring. A recognized thought leader, he has published extensively on reference checking, aptitude assessments, and the role of AI in candidate selection, which is brand new to me. His fact-driven hiring system consistently delivers million-dollar results, cementing his reputation as a game changer in the industry. Beyond transforming organizations, Fletcher has helped thousands of individuals build successful careers, extending his impact across the hiring landscape. Fletcher, welcome to the show.
Thanks for having me, Lance.
Yeah. Before we get into what you do, I ask almost every guest this question, and I would love to hear your story about it. How did you get here? Are you from the entrepreneur, family of entrepreneurs, no entrepreneurs? Where does that spirit come from for you?
Yeah, it's a long story, but yeah, I'm from a pure entrepreneurial family. Funky story, but my dad was a management consultant, and so all of that teaching, coaching, the assessment side of my world all rubbed off. He created these really amazing integrity, attitude, competency, aptitude, and personality, and a variety of other assessments, 30 plus assessments. And so I get to live with my father every day and sharing and evangelizing the ideas that he shared with me. And it stuck with me. I wrote a paper to graduate from high school. I started thinking about these things seriously at the age of 16, and have been able to practice these in startup businesses, in large businesses, and been able to show the effect as a leader, and who you get on the bus can really drive a big impact in an organization and results in multi-million-dollar outcomes or lost opportunities. And for the last 13 years, I've really leaned in and I've studied, and we have Bowling Green State University, University of Arizona, Minnesota, Virginia Tech. We've co-published scientific journal articles, and they're kind of all in our academic advisory side of what we do. And so we're really just all in on understanding what it takes to find and assess and ultimately hire the very, very best people. And yeah, so my stepfather was an entrepreneur, and he got me into an entrepreneurial business. I opened 25 delis for him. He wrote me a blank check, sent me to New York and Vegas and Phoenix. And when I was right out of college, I worked for him my whole life since I was like 9. And then my real father was this consultant, and he has an entrepreneurial thing. And then I think my mom was a loan officer. It's kind of entrepreneurial, but she was a high performing salesperson. And so I've been around it, in and around it, and chomping at the bit, and for a long time. And now we effectively have, I don't know, at least 2 different businesses and a couple of other little things, side projects that we work on. And so very entrepreneurial, to say the least. I'm addicted.
That's fantastic. I think my daughter has the itch, because she talks about, I asked her, hey, what do you want to be? And she goes, the boss. And I go, oh, okay. That's an interesting way to put that. And so I think she's going to go for it. And I explained what it means, to be a boss and all that. Like, really, it's about being a leader. It's more than, you're not bossing people around. Like, you're leading, and a lot of it is by example, et cetera. My son, though, I'm not sure. Do you have children, and do you think they'll follow?
I don't know. I have a 4.5-year-old and a 2-year-old.
So hard to say.
Yeah, it's hard to say, but yeah, I'm pretty sure, I'm sure I'll rub off on them in some way. But so far, since I'm a personality guy, I'm pretty sure I've got like a high D and a high I on the DISC scale. So my older one, I'm pretty sure she's a D, and I'm pretty sure the little one is an I. But it might be vice versa. So it's a little hard to tell, but I'm pretty sure they're on the right side of the behavioral quadrant, which generally lends itself to, leadership type activities.
Yep, for sure. Cool. All right. Well, yeah, good luck to you in wherever any regard with that.
Yeah.
I got to ask about the AI
interjection
that you have, and how I'm personally a little exhausted by the AI talk, but
Yeah.
but we got to do it. And
Yeah.
so tell us about how it's integrated into what you do with Discovered's AI-driven approach. How does it enhance the candidate evaluation? How and then also like has it? I mean, since ChatGPT was it's 4 or 5 years old now, is since it actually became public. When did you guys start adopting and integrating it?
Yeah, well, we got right away. I mean, as soon as we saw when they released it publicly and we got our hands on it, we are like, "Holy cow, this is going to change the world, and it's going to change
Hmm.
the world of hiring." And so we really began integrating it into our platform almost immediately. I think, obviously, I think we've all had these varying experiences, this wow, and also this like, how do I get this thing over the edge to really go end to end on solving a problem in our business? And, I think many of us are still there. I think the jury is obviously still out. I think we're all pretty convinced it's going to change whatever little world corner of the world we're in completely in the next 5 to 10 years. And, in the next 5 to 10 years, all of hiring could be automated completely with AI. And I believe that to be 100% true. Some of the restrictions, the tech, I think, is mostly there. I think it is the human acceptance of that is probably going to be the thing that slows it down, right? And just adoption is going to be the thing that slows it down. Um, but yeah, we're integrating in every piece. I mean, I'll share with you afterwards, but a link to our hiring GPT, which is a great free tool if anybody has a
Mm.
ChatGPT account at least, right? That you can leverage to really build out your entire hiring process. So that was the first application. Is like
Mm.
we work with a lot of SMB, and many people go to start a hiring process, and they say, I need to hire a mechanical engineer or whatever, electrical engineer. And, if you're in that space, you kind of have a really clear vision for what that is, right? And so what that causes us to do is make a lot of assumptions when we go to the marketplace to go find these people. And it's the most common mistake we make as leaders is we just say, I need to hire X. And
Yeah.
we have a clear mind's eye, sort of. But if you actually stop and question yourself and start to dissect what you're asking for,
Hmm.
you might you almost certainly will be like, oh yeah, there's this thing and that thing, and this thing's more important than that thing. And, I'm going to measure success this way and that way, or I don't know how I'm going to measure success. Ooh, shoot, I better figure that out because, I'm setting this, so this fundamental foundational piece of preparing to go out and successfully make a hire people just overlook. So AI is phenomenal in helping kind of guide people to doing that better and just saving them a ton of time. Because back in the day, to do this, what we call a job analysis and a performance based job description, and all of the prep work you needed to do to hire, you might pay a consultant tens of thousands or thousands, or
Yeah.
you might yourself spend many hours trying to get this right. AI has taken this down to a 30-minute task. And so that's one tool I'm going to leave you and your audience with. Go through the job analysis process before you make your next hire. It will be enlightening for you, and it will then become your North Star in everything you do in that process.
Yeah.
That's one big thing. But
And I can't help but think, you just made me think, okay, we're taking it down from like a $10,000 recruiter or something to a 30-minute process. Is AI coming for their jobs?
I think it is.
Yeah, you just got to say it.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. No, I think
Yeah.
I think I think it is. I think there is because we are humans, and I think it's probably true in the architectural and engineering and construction management worlds. Look, there's always going to be a place for a human with the best tools and who has a deep understanding of the subject matter and the problem being solved, right? So today, as experts, we are expert orchestrators of the AI. So it has just 10x our capability. But this human to human, like consulting piece of it, is still absolutely crucial because there is a big human part of hiring. I mean, as much
Oh
as we
yeah.
will automate probably most of hiring, uh, especially in really difficult roles like engineering or architects. Like, I mean, these people don't
Customer
exist.
service, right? Yeah, like where you're customer to customer. I mean, service based to customer. It seems like that you're going to want to make sure that you're not hiring on Lex Friedman, a robot,
Yeah. Yeah.
something like that. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. So there is a human element there, right? And so there's still coaching and consulting and educating of people. And that's what the factor in hiring system is all about, right? Is teaching people how to make evidence-based hiring decisions and what are the steps in that process that you need to master or execute well in order to do that, right?
Yeah. Yeah. Uh, so it sounds like there's probably, if I had to get, maybe you can fill in the third blank here. What I just heard was that, especially your GPT, and I do have ChatGPT, so I'm very interested in this link. We're not hiring right now, but hopefully maybe
Yeah.
next year, the year after, is we hire slow, fire fast. That's our motto.
Yeah.
Is it could help me focus who I'm looking for much
Yeah.
better. Number one, and then number two, then once I have that focus and I put it out there, it can help me filter down to the person or people that I want to interview in person, 2 to 3,
Yeah.
much quicker and much faster. What is the third thing that you think is maybe, and maybe there isn't one?
Well, it's targeting. So I mean, you nailed it. You really nailed it, right? That focus, right? Because when you go to the market and you maybe post a job ad, or I don't know, recruiters send you a resume, whatever. You look at that through some sort of lens, right? And if that lens is this fuzzy mind's eye vision of what you're looking for, you will make mistakes. And we've all done it as leaders. I've done it plenty of times, right? And that's why we developed a fact-driven hiring system to because I had to interview 15,000 people and help lots of companies make hirings. I had to have a machine in order to make that a repeatable process, right? And we all need to do that though, right? Like whether you're me doing this for lots of people or you doing it for your one hire, you still need to do this, right? So yeah, but it's that mind's eye thing. And so yes, that then gives you a lot of clarity when you look at a resume and you start interviewing the candidate, and you start making decisions about whether or not that candidate is likely to be successful in your role because you've done that fundamental step. Now lots of other tools that AI can help you assess because you are clear on what you're looking for. AI can now really help you
Mm-hmm.
assess that person, as well as traditional assessment tools, working interviews, and interview techniques can all just be laser focused on the right things. The other place it really helps you though is in attracting or targeting your ideal candidate. Again, if I have a fuzzy idea of who I'm looking for, um, there's a great example. We're kicking off a director of electrical engineering search for a client, right? And uh, there are a lot of electrical engineers in the world, right? Some of them work on like microchips, work in manufacturing. Some focus on maybe more of energy sector. Some work on industrial automation, and some work in healthcare and public facility, right? So getting really clear there is really important because if I just say, find me an electrical engineer, you could get a lot of noise.
Yeah.
So that focus helps you target, right? And now what I can do is I can go to every single firm in the geographic area that client works at and say, hey, find me all the consulting engineering firms in that area. And then I can say, find me all the consulting engineer. Now, all of those consulting engineering firms, how many of them have electrical engineering discipline? Okay, that eliminates a bunch. Now, how many of those have a particular emphasis in healthcare, which is my scenario? And that's going to eliminate a bunch. And then now I know, okay, there are 10 firms in the metro that have electrical engineers who have a focus in healthcare. And now I can then go say, who in their firm does that work? And then I can create that list. And I can say, and those people on that list, how many of them are probably like project engineer or higher level? And then I
Mm-hmm.
can categorize those, and I can map the talent pool in a metro 100% perfectly. And what the answer to that question will be is there are about 30 people in this metro who are qualified to do this job. So maybe you could guess, why is that important to know that there's 30 people qualified to do this job in a given metro?
Yeah. Well, is that a direct question?
Yeah,
Or
yeah.
oh,
I just play with you. Tell me, if I told you that, right, you need to hire this, and I'm like, Lance, there's only 30 people qualified to do this job in Denver.
yeah.
What do you get? How's your mind going to change about this problem?
Well, here's what I think it is it helps me understand maybe some misconceptions that I had. Was there 100 people versus now there's 30? And how much time did I save by maybe narrowing the whole thing?
Yeah,
What I like that you're bringing up is something that a lot of people I'm not sure are doing because I mean I'm kind of autistic about how people find us.
yeah,
Uh, so what I've been shocked about, and I brought it up to Al, and now we're sort of refocusing, is how does a GPT or how does an AI, it doesn't matter what one it is. I use both Grok and ChatGPT for two different things because I think it gives you different answers
yeah,
or problems or whatever. But you're like if a company like us and then through you is looking for candidates, you're bringing up another good point, which is clients are maybe using it now to find service-based businesses, product-based, whatever. But what I've noticed is that the way AI is smart and dumb.
yeah,
In my opinion, it's very smart, but it's very dumb.
yeah,
Elon said like it lacks common sense. So, which is true. It's just that it
yeah,
does. It's just going to give you it's a language learning model. So it's taking everything online and coming up with its own idea that is non-human, but it's still, people are adopting it. And so when you look for example, find me the best architect in Colorado. What I've noticed is like, for example, in that query, it focuses on best. How does it determine best? It's all awards.
yeah,
It thinks just because it's awards, right? And so then and maybe not everybody's looking in that way. Maybe there are clients that go like, so I go like, oh, what about customer service, right? Maybe do they care about that? What do they care about the most? Find me the best customer service oriented architect. Then all of a sudden we were like number one, number two. But when it came to best, it was like, holy cow. Apparently it really thinks just because you win design awards, that's the best architect. In a way it is, right?
yeah,
So I said, but here's what I think is like, what I'm getting at is, if everybody who's listening is, I think you have to, if you're thinking about it as an employer, sure, this is the focus of this episode. But I also like that you brought up, think about how people are trying to find you if in your company using these chat GPTs, and how can you formulate yourself to get into the kind of queries and answers that
yeah.
you're.
That's a legacy SEO thing. Now we call it. I think they have a lot of names. I don't think they've settled on one, but GEO is what I call it. It's like a general.
Ooh,
I don't even know what it stands for. It's like a generative AI, or something like that, optimization, right? But anyways, yeah, no, that's it, right? It has a different perspective. I mean, Google's was predominantly how many people were linking to you. Obviously, you have some fundamental like structural things about your website, can it understand you, right? So if you screw that up, even if you're amazing, couldn't understand you because technically it couldn't crawl you and understand that. But then links in, right, from credible sources, and then the other one is reviews, right? So that's how it
mm-hmm.
would have determined that question more programmatically than say, AI has a different way of figuring that out.
Yeah, I think it's bleeding edge stuff where you need to. I bet there's going to be a whole new industry of. We can't come up with the acronym. I wish we could right on the fly. We're like, we used to be like SEO optimization. Now, how are you chat GPTing
Yeah,
optimizing
yeah.
your
I
search
think
results?
they call it GEO is what they're calling it
Geo.
at this point. Yeah, but there are a few other acronyms because again, I think it's so new. There hasn't been a universally adopted one, but and I can't even tell you what it stands for. but but
Yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
um,
Well, tell us. Let's pivot over to the facts framework.
yeah,
What you do there. Um, Unpack it for us.
yeah.
Educate us.
Yeah, so you got to have your framework, right? It's like anything you do in building, you have a strong foundation, right? And that's that having a great job analysis, great performance-based job description, that turns into a candidate scorecard. So that again is your North Star as you go to market saying, here's what my ideal candidate looks like. Really well described. Here's how I'm going to determine whether or not they're the right person. Scorecard qualities, skills, experiences that I will need to verify in order to say, yeah, this person, Lance is highly likely to be the right architect for me, for example, right? And then you got to attract people. And so and we don't have time to get into too much in this, but there's three big things. Obviously, job boards. And a lot of people hate job boards for lots of good reasons, but you need to become a master of leveraging job boards. And so there are lots of tools. That's why we built Discovered, helps with that piece. There's employee referrals is by far the best source of the highest quality candidate. 87% of people hired from referrals turn out to be good to great employees. That's not perfect. So again, one of the objections I always get is people like, well, we hired this person that was referred and they turned out to be a nightmare and it was a big problem. So we don't lean into referrals. I'm like, stop that logic. Like, just because it didn't work once, like so many people do that in so many things in their life. Like just because you failed at something one time doesn't mean that strategy is not valid or not the best strategy. It just means you didn't do it very well, or it didn't, probability you landed on green 0 on the roulette table. I'm sorry. Like the odds of that are not good, but it happens, and then the third one is be your own headhunter. And that's what we were talking. I was just giving you an example about there. And by the way, AI is helping with that process. So like, again, I can go say, hey, I need to hire an head of electrical engineering for this firm in Los Angeles, and boom, it will go and do all that research and bring all that back and give me a talent pool with then names, phone numbers, emails, LinkedIn, social. So you can then go begin knock on those people's doors quite easily. And as leaders of especially architectural and engineering firms, the more headhunting you do yourself, the better off you're going to be. Like stop paying recruiters $40,000. Stop paying me $40,000 to do this for you. Like don't do that. You should be doing this yourself. You're going to be way more effective at it. It takes 15 minutes a day. Just figure out who the people are and start inviting them to coffee. Just be their friend. It's not a direct solicitation. You don't go knock on their door asking them to come work for you. No, you start making a bunch of friends. You start building what they call a talent bench, and you start nurturing those relationships. These people are not leaving their firms easily. You're going to have to build trust and relationship, and then a lot of it's timing. And then you better have a really great value proposition. Why, Lance, should you come work for me? Right? Like, you got a great thing going. Like I better offer you a really great value prop.
The grass has got to be greener. Yeah.
And we're going to have to build a relationship too, in order for that to happen. So two things will have to happen. I better have a really great vision, value prop for you to come work for me, and B, I'm going to have to nurture this relationship over time, but it's worth every freaking penny of it. Cause if I can get you to come work for me, I just made millions of dollars. Because you are a high performer. You're going to bring your firm over. I'm just throwing some weird examples, but you're going to bring your firm over and all your clients. And I mean, that's a multi-million-dollar deal if I can land you in your firm, right? Like, and bring all of you guys over into my firm, right? Or at least the best of your team. I don't know, and I'm not proposing any of these things. I'm just giving you guys kind of an example of how this leads to really big wins, scalable wins for your firm, right? Okay, then you have to have a great candidate evaluation. So F, foundation, A, attract, C, candidate evaluation. That's a whole thing, but assessments, structured interviews, candidate scorecard, references from previous direct supervisors, working interviews or project interviews, job shadows for more hands-on type of roles. And then the final step that's also drastically overlooked is training and onboarding. So Lance, you show up in my office on day one. I know I know you're a high performer. I know you're a rock star, but boy, if I don't create a really great structured roadmap for you to become assimilated into my firm and to my expectations or our firm's expectations, I might bulldoze you or just wash you out before we have a chance to let you thrive here. Right. And that's just a lot of wasted time and energy and money, and really, just creates a terrible outcome for all parties involved, right? It would be terrible for you to come work for me and 6 months later for it to not work out, right? And it'd be bad for me because I didn't get any productivity out of you, right?
Yeah, of course, yeah. And we hit S, yes? I just want to make sure.
Oh, it's just fact-driven hiring systems, but...
Oh, okay, cool.
Yeah. No S.
That's all good. I get a little... zoned in there. One point I just want to resurface that you brought up was the referral part.
Yeah.
And I'm with you. It's like my sort of mantra has always been once is an anomaly, twice is a coincidence, three times is a pattern.
Yeah.
And I'm actually here to tell you, we've hit the pattern part with the referrals. And I think you're right. It's like, yes, if you're a business owner and you've got a referral and you've hired that person, they didn't work out, maybe it was a disaster. Fletcher's not wrong about the percentage. He knows the percentage of like, oh, the success rate is like, I think you said like 87%.
87%. Yeah.
Yep.
Across tens of thousands of people.
Exactly. The empirical data is there.
Yeah.
But if you're in my category and you actually have tried that three times, maybe four, actually, if I think about it, it's probably 4 or 5 at this point, and it hasn't worked out, I think it's okay for you to reevaluate. And then
you know what? You're probably failing in the candidate evaluation or the training and onboarding piece. You look at the other pieces of the puzzle, because all 4 of those categories, which each of those I listed 3 or 4 different subcomponents to that, is the weak link can be maybe not that one thing, but in those other components, right? So just because they're a referral doesn't mean they bypass the candidate evaluation stage. And that's a common mistake I see. And I don't know if you made that mistake or not, but that's the most common mistake, and why people say, well, referrals don't work, is because too many people take a referral and they just go like, oh, great. Oh, you're hired.
What I say is they work until they don't. You get into a relationship with folks professionally and personally, and people change. People make changes in their lives, and they evolve for better or for worse. Yeah. We have had several referrals then go through the whole thing with us, maybe not work out in the end, and then actually heard through the grapevine or directly that they ended up making a mistake. Yeah. Meaning like verbatim, hey, you guys are actually really good. The other person was not. The grass was not greener. And so, but in the end, if you really boil it down, like that didn't work out. And I'm sorry to just drill down on that, but I just want to like be a sounding board for the people that maybe then have fallen into that category. It's a complicated thing. People are complicated people. People are not left or right, up or down, in and out. They're actually in a goopy gray area, which is kind of beautiful. So, well, either way, I'm going to try.
And boomerang hires are phenomenal too. So, the people who leave you, parting ways on good terms is important too, because, you know what, young professionals, they might make a leap and you might be bitter and mad that they left you after you spent all this time training them. But if you change your mindset on perspective on that, you might actually have an opportunity to get somebody back that is very valuable to your firm and recoup that investment.
Yeah.
If you can let your hard feelings,
Thank you for adding that last part. I don't know if I'm that guy. Yeah. It's a special place that we've created here. So let's kind of wrap this up. Thank you so much, Fletcher, for being on the show. I really appreciate your time. If people want to get in touch with you, please drop the link, give it to me. I'm happy to put it in our episode description for everybody on the social media posts that we'll end up posting with you. But also, if people want to get in touch with you, find you, follow you, everybody should follow Fletcher on LinkedIn for sure. Yeah. I do. We connected. Phenomenal content. How can they do that?
Yeah, I mean, LinkedIn is my #1 channel, guys. So yeah, Fletcher Wimbush. I'm the easiest person on earth. Google me. I'm the only person that comes up on you can just keep digging and digging. And then discovered.ai. So discovered, like you discovered your best new hire.ai. You can check us out, our product out there, or FletcherWimbush.com if you're looking for speakers or workshops or any kind of content size on that. We're always happy to come speak to your group there too.
Love it, Fletcher. Yeah, he is the one and only with a beautiful name, Fletcher Wimbush.
Very lucky.
I love it. Yeah,
I met a guy yesterday whose son, his name is Fletcher, and he was just like floored. I was like, I've never met another one. I named my kid this.
It happens. I met my 4th Lance last week via phone, so it happens. Cool.
Nice.
Awesome. Thanks for being on the show. Yep. See ya.
See you, man. Bye.